Exactly. And it's important, Assistant Minister, that the parliament actually spends time thinking about workplace exploitation, not diddling around with administrative changes. Your government has not responded to the Senate committee reports on vulnerable workers. I mean, you may laugh. It may be funny that people are working in almost slavery-like conditions across the country. You may find that funny. Now, I call on the government to stop being complacent and stop pretending to act and come in here and waffle about administrative changes and actually do something about this. We have 1.2 million people or more people in this country right now on temporary visas with work rights attached. That's a fact. They include people on 457s, working holiday makers, international students. I think it's difficult for people who are born in this country or came here many decades ago in a different migration world to truly understand the terror that is caused for temporary migrants by employers holding their migration sponsorship over them. We've had reports of sexual slavery. We've had numerous reports of underpayment. There was a quote actually from an employer on TV, I remember last year, in one of those programs, and he said, visa holders are the best workers you can get, because if they don't do what you want, we can just put them on a boat and send them back. I mean, that is the attitude that needs to be addressed, and it's not going to be addressed, despite all the fine rhetoric of the government, by tax file number comparisons. Worthy as it goes, it's not sufficient. You know, the terror that's caused, do what I say or I'll dob you in and you'll be deported. Much more needs to be done. And I know from conversations with people in my community about this that it's often heard when you say to people, oh, temporary migrant, vulnerable workers, that doesn't affect me, that's other people. You know, you can kind of tune out, oh yeah, that's bad, you should do something about that, government, it doesn't affect me. Well, it does. It affects every Australian. It affects everyone seeking a job in the labour market, particularly in lower skilled industries and lower paid occupations. It's not fair that unscrupulous employers that are not going to be hit by this bill, and the government still refused to act, are undercut by employers trying to do the wrong. That employers trying to do the right thing are undercut by employers who are cheating the system. It's not fair that the integrity of the workplace relations system is undermined, and importantly, as has been shown repeatedly, it distorts the labour market and wages. We talk about low wage growth, particularly at the low end, for low-skilled workers. Well, in many industries, a big reason for that is because we have temporary migrants being exploited, paying below award wages, working unpaid overtime and so on and so forth. How do you bargain in that environment against an employer? This is real life. So in